faculty of crime.
Well, and we're back. It just took me a moment because my other screen was playing. What's up, everybody? Come on in. I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime, and y'all know the drill. Come on in, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. What's up, everybody? Happy middle of the week. What's going on? Now, you guys know I've been covering the Anna Kepner case for a long time. Since the case happened and we saw Anna Kepner being wheeled out of in a body bag from the Carnival cruise. Now, after that, I said, guys, I decided I'm never going on a cruise. And then we started seeing about the Hannah virus and other things that lead me back to say, guys, I'm never going to take a cruise. Don't invite me. Don't ask. I am not going on a damn cruise. All right? Okay. That being said, welcome. Let's say hi to everybody. We want justice for Anna Kepner. And it's a little bit confusing, which is why I'm coming on today, because the Anna Kepner case is revealing things that it once didn't. And that's only because they had the documents sealed. Everything was sealed. Okay, so we weren't able to find out details like the fact that there was a male DNA, an alternate male DNA that deposited sperm or some sort of fluid, probably sperm, I'm not sure exactly, but deposited that, which means had sex with Anna Kepner. Okay, so these are the unsealed court records that are finally now exposed and bringing new details. So I don't want you to get confused and say, well, wait a minute, Anna slept with some other guy a day or two before, and then Timothy he raped her and he stuffed her panties inside of her. How can they prove that it was him, Jay? She was sleeping with other people. Well, guys, number one, she could sleep with whoever the hell she wanted. She didn't want to sleep with her stepbrother. Number two, that's what a lot of people do on cruises. That's why people work on cruises, because they want to get the tourists. Number three, nothing's wrong with that. What's wrong is that Timothy had this ultimate fantasy and a crush, in my opinion, and jealousy took over. I gotta imagine that Anna Kepner probably had sex with, guys, it's a minor, by the way. They revealed that the person is a minor, and the reason it was revealed was because of a rape kit. All right, so I renamed my episode. Sometimes I come on there and put it real quick to get it out there. All right, so it should be fixed by now. Anna Kepner's another male DNA revealed inside of her after Timothy raped her as well. So they're saying it's prior. Was jealousy the motive? And what happened when? It's a little bit confusing now because the timeline keeps changing and things are getting added in. That's what we're saying. Perun, who did she have sex with? We're gonna get into all that, guys. They labeled the person that she had sex with as a minor. All right. So before we get into all that, let me say hello to y'all. Crazy Jane, good to see ya. Amy, how you doing? She wasn't with her phone. She wasn't with a boyfriend. That's the thing. But yes, the her being on the phone at some point and him crawling on top of her. But I don't think that's what set him off when we now know that Anna Kepner more than likely had consensual sex with a person on that ship that is a minor. Now imagine Timothy come in and find out or see them making out or any of that and just being so mad. So, guys, there's no denial. There's no denial. No one's saying he's never said anything. He's never said he did it. He never said he didn't do it. Bottom line is he never confessed it to anyone. Anytime he pleaded not guilty, there's absolutely no record, transcripts, hearings, filings, or media coverage that say he responded to admit guilt. Now, prosecutors allege that the overwhelming evidence is an admission, but it's not, guys. It's not. There's no confession, no admission of guilt. He maintains not guilty, and he has never publicly acknowledged this involvement. So I hope you guys are with me because we're like, what, the 10th episode in already? What's up, Shadow Lion? Good to see you, my friend. How you doing? You guys do me a favor, hit that like button, get yourself a membership, and help with the goal if you can. I know it's very sad, but this is what's happening. This is what's happening in the case. And as much as I hate to add this in, I made this picture today because when we're talking about the records that were unsealed that show that there was another second male DNA that she had sex with at least 24 to 48 hours prior to that, I came across this picture. And in fact, this picture didn't have his arm around her like that. It was just kind of down on the side. But the reason I put this on is because I wanted to talk about that arm hold, the asphyxiation, the chokehold. Those are all different and separate scenarios. So not only did he bar hold her like this, where he squeezed her to death and took her breath away, he also busted her eardrums so bad. That's how much pressure he put on her head from squeezing her to death. So yes, it's sad. It's always a trigger warning, my friends. We know these cases get gruesome. What's up, Edith? Good to see you, my friend. Clark, always a good day to see you. Sadie's mama, Saucy CBD, how you doing? What's up, Trotter Daughter? Going to the beach, but no cruises. I'm cool with the cruise. I'm not down with cruises. I haven't been down with cruises. I'm cool with that. I'm good. The parents were so neglected. We're going to get into all that today. So save your rage to hit 1, to hit 2, to talk about it in chat, to conversate, and let's get caught up with this. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you. Heckle, Love Jay. It's sad. This poor girl had everything. Has everything coming out, and it sucks because they're trying to make her look like she was a whore. And when I say that quote unquote about the discussions that are being had behind the scenes. All right. Okay. All right. So that's a picture of him standing next to her, but that's not really the picture of him with the bar hold. I just wanted you to see that if you were to take that and squeeze it up there, all he had to do is keep squeezing it up there for 3 to 5 minutes. Not only will he suffocate her or I'm sorry, take her breath away to where she dies because of that, but it's a manual. It's more of it's not a strangulation or putting someone over their head. It's a lot more brutal, and it's a lot more brutal when you hear that he bursted her eardrums out so bad that they're going to be probably using those eardrums in trial to show the jury the damage that he did to this young lady, Anna Kepner. May she rest in peace. Yeah, they do it all the time. All the time. And for those of you that love cruises, right on, guys. Keep doing your cruises. I don't have nothing to do with you going or not. I'm never going on a cruise, and I'm good with that. Y'all have fun. Yes, Timothy Hudson is the alleged killer right now, but they're trying to make it sound many different ways. So let's take a look real quick. Let me remove this and hop into this. So, guys, this was Monday, June 8th. Today's Wednesday, June 10th. We know about what's going on. What I'm going to tell you a little bit about is the stepbrother, Timothy Hudson, and his trial. He makes me sick. Honestly, when I see this kid, he makes me sick. He looks hollow. He looks evil. He just doesn't look like he gives two fucks about what happened to Anna Kepner. All right, now you guys know we gotta say, by all accounts, Anna was a bright high school senior. She had everything. She aspired to serve her community and country. However, her 18-year-old life was horrifically cut short when she was apparently strangled during a vacation at sea. And I'll add in, by her own stepbrother. Now, more shocking is that prosecutors allege that the killer, Timothy Hudson, was from Kepner's own family. Her stepbrother, Timothy Hudson, 16, is currently awaiting federal trial as an adult for killing her. Guys, he's charged with first-degree murder and aggravated sexual abuse, but he has not pleaded not guilty and denied wrongdoing. And now I see this coming as a defense that she had sex with someone else. They got jealous and they killed her. But there's one problem with that. I'm going to let you guys put into chat what the one problem with that is. Let's say we're watching this trial, or we're hearing about this trial. Everybody gets on the stand. They talk about it. They say, yes, she had other DNA. He didn't do it. She was sleeping around. Tell me what the one problem with that is. I'm not going to give you the answer yet. What's the one problem about him saying that she was having sex with other people and they could have been jealous? Any one of them. Now, who was Anna Kepner? She was born June 13th, 2007. Her father, which is a huge slut. By the way, I blame the father particularly, and Timothy's mother. Now, Christopher Kepner and the mom, Heather, that's her mom, Heather Wright. You're going to see her today. She also had six siblings, brothers and sisters, that lived in Titusville, Florida. Now, Kepner was known by her nickname, Anna Banana, and she started competing in gymnastics at age 2 and became a high school cheerleader. A college sports fan, she dreamed of cheering at University of Georgia. She also had plans to join the U.S. Navy and aspired to become a canine police officer. Anna was pure energy, bubbly, funny, outgoing, and completely herself. She never had a filter, and that was part of her charm. Her obituary reads, in May 2026, Anna Kepner's father, Christopher, and stepmother, Chantel Kepner, they attended Anna's graduation at the Temple Christian School to accept the diploma after her death. In the meantime, prosecutors are hoping to enact justice for Anna's murder during that vacation. All right, so if you guys don't remember, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but back on November 2nd, 2025, not too long ago, folks, they boarded the Carnival cruise for a vacation. Multiple family members, including her father, stepmother, 16-year-old stepbrother Timothy Hudson, and another sibling. Because of their similar ages, Anna and Timothy shared a cabin for the trip. However, the 6-day cruise turned deadly when, on the morning of November 7th, guys, that's them coming back, a room attendant found Kepner's body under a bed, concealed by life vests. She was wrapped in a blanket and bruised. She was naked, guys. According to the death certificate, the cause of death was mechanical asphyxia, meaning an object or a physical force like an armbar stopped her from breathing. Her death was ruled a homicide the same month. Now, Kepner's underwear, guys, was found twisted up and partially inserted into her body, and the DNA of another person was also discovered. That was suggesting she was that she was sexually assaulted. All right, can you guys hearing me now? And do you guys think that this piece of garbage monster, Timothy Hudson, caught wind of her making out or sleeping with someone, did this out of anger, raped her, and then shoved her panties, twisted them, and shoved her panties where they don't belong? All right. I don't think a lot of you guys knew that, and particularly knew that there was a second set of DNA and the circumstances. What's up, country bumpkins? Good to see you. I love your name, Elvin, Mystery Diva. Yeah, this is a lot. You guys are going to learn a lot today because documents have been unsealed and law enforcement's looking for a way to lock this kid up now. Now, why was Timothy arrested? Because Timothy initially was charged as a juvenile on February 2nd. A month later, a federal grand jury indicted him as an adult on first degree and aggravated sexual abuse. He was identified by TH. Guys, per CCTV footage, Kepner Anna entered a room at 7:38 p.m. on November 6th. That was the last time she was seen alive. Over the following 4 hours, Timothy Hudson entered and left, entered and left, entered and left at least 3 different times. In later footage the next morning, after Kepner's body was discovered, Timothy Hudson is seen walking past without even acknowledging people inside the cabin. According to the notes for the February bond hearing, prosecutors allege Hudson walked around the ship, smoked on the deck, and eventually destroyed Anna Kepner's cell phone the morning her body was discovered. Now, Hudson denies involvement in Kepner's death and has pleaded not guilty to all charges. However, in text messages exchanged on November 9th between Chantel Kepner, that's Hudson's mother, and her ex-husband, Thomas Hudson, Chantel revealed that their son kept repeating over and over that he can't remember anything from the night of Anna's death. All right. When is Timothy on trial? Well, the criminal trial is scheduled on Tuesday, September 8th, guys. September 8th. It's coming up. All right. Because he was initially arrested and charged as a juvenile, Hudson has been free and allowed to live with an uncle. However, the federal grand jury indictment in April raised the possibility that he could be jailed as he awaits trial. Now, on May 27th, the district judge, Edwin Torres, allowed him to temporarily remain free under electronic supervision, citing that the detention in Miami-Dade County would make it difficult for family members from Hernando County near Tampa to visit him. Prosecutors have countered that 2 minors also live in the home with Hudson and his uncle, and that he is a safety risk to the community. And I would have to agree. And then there you go. Carmelo got 35 years. And boy, is he not going to know what to do with himself now, is he? All right, let's pull this up. And then we can get into, where is everybody today? Is there like is it like the Olympics? Is Wednesday? Where is everybody? We could have done a Watts Wednesday. Check this out.
Anna Kepner's stepbrother allegedly tried to destroy evidence by tossing her cell phone after her murder, but the device was recovered in a trash can by a cruise employee.
Now, this just came out a few hours ago, so I'm just giving you a recap of him throwing the trash or throwing that out, trying to get rid of evidence, and the shit he did to lead up to right now, and the discovery, what came out. Now, what we know is unsealed, right?
Timothy Hudson is accused of sexually assaulting and killing 18-year-old Kepner during a family
Come on,
cruise to the
guys.
Caribbean. The teen, who will be tried as an adult, is currently living with an uncle as he awaits trial and has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. During an earlier hearing, prosecutors said after the FBI boarded the Carnival cruise ship on November 8th in Miami, investigators were unable to find Kepner's cell phone, something her family said she was never without, according to court documents obtained by Oxygen.com. Authorities later learned the seriously damaged phone had been found by a crew member in a trash can in the rear of the ship, noting it appeared to be smashed and the screen was broken, per the court records. After reviewing surveillance footage from the boat, FBI agents saw Hudson allegedly leave his room around 9:50 a.m. on November 7th, carrying something in his left hand. He then walked to the midship lobby and made his way up some stairs to the back of the boat, before walking toward the trash can, according to the court records. After spending 22 seconds in the vicinity of the trash can, Hudson returned to the room he had been sharing with Kepner and another step-sibling.
But you see what's happening here? This guy seems to have zero remorse, zero empathy. I mean, really, I don't like to throw psychopath around, but guys, what else can you call that after he did that to his sister, stepsister, went back out, did his thing, let the brother come in, throw the stuff away nonchalantly without anything, no effing remorse. Foxy Amazon, what's up, my girl? Good to see you. Thank you for the Guilty of Crime membership. Guys, don't forget, it's Pride Month, and Foxy's got me thinking here. Foxy's got me thinking that we got to do some cases that represent pride for the LGBT community. I'm just going to call it at that. One I have on my radar is Gwen Araujo, who is very close to where I live in San Jose. I think it was in Fremont or Union City, if I recall. Anyway, we definitely got to cover some of those cases. Trotter Daughter, thank you so much for the Guilty of Crime membership. You guys, if we even make it halfway to the goal, I'll give you out. I got a stack of books. The books are $20 a piece, and then another 13 to ship. So you guys understand when I did the goal prior, it would be $2 for 10. But even if you do 10 at $2, that's $20. That doesn't even cover the cost of the book, let alone the shipping. So I let you know, just, hey, get us some membership, help us out with that. And hey, I love to give stuff away. All right, Elvin, thank you so much. If you received any of the memberships from Elvin, Foxy, or Trotter Daughter, please thank them. All right.
Authorities said. According to prosecutors, the routers on the ship also showed that Kepner's phone had been in the same areas where Hudson had been captured on surveillance footage throughout the morning, up until the moment he was spotted by the trash can. Assistant U.S. Attorney Alejandra Lopez noted in the hearing, quote, "This is an attempt, and I believe it is probable cause to believe that this defendant tried to throw that evidence or get rid of it in some way. Regardless of whether or not he had the opportunity to discard it in other places, he clearly discarded it in the trash bin near the Lido deck, where he is seen on CCTV walking with it as it is pinging on."
Now, I guess as good as a cruise ship is, for those of you that love cruise ships, there's CCTV and it gets you doing everything. I wouldn't even doubt if there were bathroom cameras just monitoring the inside of the bathroom. All right. Which, hey, do you guys, do you, boo? Do a cruise if you like. You won't catch me there.
The routers on the same track and in the area where he deposits it. Defense attorney Evan Kuhl argued during the hearing that there were lots of gaps and question marks surrounding the phone evidence, and believed that the evidence left, quote, "plenty of reasonable doubts about what happened here." Kepner was last seen entering her cabin around 7:38 p.m. on November 6th after excusing herself from a family dinner. Her body was discovered around 11:24 a.m. the next day, wrapped in blankets and stuffed under the bed in the cabin by a cruise ship employee cleaning the room, according to the court records. A medical examiner determined that the teen died of mechanical asphyxiation.
And we're going to talk about all of that. Don't think we're not getting into all that, but before we do, I want to rage you a little bit. I want you to see her father in this quick clip about him speaking out about his daughter and him as a stepbrother, and then we're going to get into the FBI records and the DNA reveal of the second teen. And after that, it's all about how this piece of shit father was just a fat cheater. He cheated on all of his wives, all of his girlfriends, everything. he cared about except for his daughter. Everything was disregarded other than this man's penis. All right. And I'm saying that the nicest way I can.
Kepner's father speaking out for the first time since authorities believe his 18-year-old daughter was murdered by her 16-year-old stepbrother on board a Carnival cruise.
That kind of took us for a loop. It was hard. Being in her place to do that is very hard.
Christopher Kepner stepping up to collect his daughter's high school diploma at what should have been her high school.
But do you see? So these two people right here, it went way too fast for me because I wanted to have a screenshot of them. And today I just did not have the opportunity to do that. So that's them, guys. For one, this is Timothy Hudson's mom. This is the newest wife to Anna Kepner's dad. I mean, I don't even know. She looks like she's like, oh, I better not say anything because I know people already don't like how I parent. This guy looks like he's freaking smiling, but he's about to speak out. And to me, he's full of shit. None of this means anything.
Being in her place to do that is very hard.
Christopher Kepner stepping up to collect his daughter's high school diploma at what should have been her high school graduation.
Our time with Anna was short, but it left us with many memories that we will forever cherish.
We waited for her name to be called, and I walked up and grabbed the diploma. My wife set up the senior table, and it was great.
Anna's father walking off stage shedding a tear as his daughter's classmates and their
Just
families
one.
applauded up out of their seats. The family telling ABC News they're frustrated and upset that Anna's stepbrother, TH, the son of Christopher's wife, Chantel, remains free pending a court hearing next week to determine whether or not he should be jailed while he awaits trial.
Yes,
Court documents have shown that Kepner's stepbrother is accused of sexually assaulting her and then intentionally killing her during a family cruise. Her cause of death, mechanical asphyxiation. Something or someone forced her to stop breathing. Christopher Kepner telling us this day embodies how his daughter should be remembered.
Wonderful, beautiful, outgoing, class clown, but serious sometimes. Just thank you to the school.
Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
All right, let's continue. I just wanted you to see what this
morning
garbage father has to say for himself, because we're going to start getting into Anna's mom's going to speak out again. She said he cheated on her 12 times. Now, that's just 12 times alone with Anna Kepner's mom. Now, what? Now, you got to remember, he cheated on Anna Kepner's mom with their underage, at the time, nanny / housekeeper type of thing. They hired this cute little nanny. I don't know if she's cute or not. I'm just saying that. They hired this cute little underage nanny to pay a little bit for. And guess what? Anna Kepner's dad goes and starts fucking her. Then after he does that, he divorces his wife, marries the young girl, stays married to her for years. I think they have another kid together. And then 11 years later, divorces her and gets with Chantel. If you look at the other my episodes, it goes into all the different connections. What's up, Tucson girl? Good to see you. Holly, glad to see you're in chat. I agree. I cannot believe this. I can't believe it. I can't believe that they're letting him out. I have no desire. Yeah, the father should have protected her. The mom, we know what happened with the mom and why the dad had her. All right. Should be ashamed of him. Now watch. Just wait. You guys are going to be pissed off in a bit.
Carlika Nunez Navarro, great to have you here, Judge. Thanks for taking the time. This is a big revelation. The first thing I thought about, okay, if I take these allegations as true that the stepbrother sexually assaulted and killed her, and he finds out that she had sexual relations with a juvenile on that cruise ship, is that motive? Is this jealousy? Is that what you think is going on here?
Good evening, Jesse. Yes, I mean, that's certainly one possible theory that the prosecutor can take. But I'm thinking to myself, as a judge and seeing so many of these cases, I'm thinking this is an in for the defense to say, what is this? We have a second minor. We have her having sex with this minor. So what more do we not know? So I'm thinking more of a defense perspective. This is a reasonable doubt opening.
In other words, when you have another player in a case like this, you're going to see defense attorneys potentially pointing.
And guys, all you have to do is cause one little partial of a reasonable doubt. It takes one person on that jury that maybe got cheated on before or whatever, something that hits a nerve with them, and they go on they go on the stand, people are testifying, cross-examination comes, starts victim blaming, calling Anna whores and this and that. One person to cause a reasonable doubt could throw a whole mistrial, or even worse, could say, hey, she slept with two people on that cruise. Now, I know we saw her going in the room and we never saw her come out again when she was alive. But is it possible that CCTV cut off the cameras? Is it? I'm just giving you guys scenarios. Yes, it was a minor. They found him, Sadie's mama. They matched the DNA. They found the minor. The minor's obviously a juvenile. She slept with either a 17 or a 16-year-old, probably, whatever. She just turned 18, so neither here nor there, right? I'm curious as well. Let's continue.
The finger. I mean, I guess they'll do it two ways, right? I mean, when they'll say, hey, what a sloppy investigation. How do you know where this DNA came from? Why are you telling this so late? When did you know about this? Did you know about it after you made the arrest? Or is it the defense going to point the finger at this juvenile teen as the killer?
Absolutely. That's two possible defenses. If I put on my defense hat, I'm thinking, who else was in that room? I want to know where the sex occurred. I want to know, who this minor is. I certainly want to make sure that all questions are asked. And like you said, the FBI agent didn't take DNA from the neck. So how can we say that this was in fact Hudson? These are all.
Yeah, see, they're going to say, oh yeah, there was no DNA lifted from her neck. But you got to remember, again, what happened in that situation, how much time he had, etc., etc. I don't know if you're still here. I think I saw Tiff here earlier. I was talking to you before. Can you resend me that chart if you're here, Tiff? You sent me a chart with the relations. I wanted to show people who was married to who and what for how long and how messed up this family is as far as the dynamics and the father keeping his dick in his pants. He doesn't do it.
Questions that the prosecutor will make sure they have to address with the jury.
Was that a big deal what the FBI agent said regarding the DNA on the neck and regarding whether, the injuries and the strangulation and who may have done it?
It's as big of a deal as the defense wants to make it. So it's up to them. But at the end of the day, the prosecutor, the government has a burden, and that's to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a murder occurred and that Hudson did it. So whatever holes they can poke in the prosecution's case, the better off they are.
I guess I'm a little confused as to two parts here, right? Is there a situation where the DNA evidence, the forensic evidence, is going to be so strong that the defense is going to have a problem to say that Hudson didn't sexually assault Anna, that they may have to admit that, but say, hey, he didn't murder her? Because I don't know if that would work. I mean, the stepbrother sexually assaulting his step.
Well, here's the thing, and yes, to finish Jesse's, thoughts about to think that a stepbrother would do that to a stepsister. Elvin, two things could be correct. The DNA could be someone not on the cruise, and it can last for up to 5 days, but what they talked about, the whole surrounding this leads me to believe that it was not somebody outside of the cruise because they gave a time frame. We're just not there yet. So regardless of whether she slept with the head kitchen guy or the dancers or the guy that, puts the boat, the whatever, doesn't make neither here nor there. They gave a time frame of how long that will last. and when they thought that was possibly when that possibly happened. Okay, so I don't think it was someone that was not on the ship. I'll tell you that.
Stepsister, if the jury hears that and hears that potential admission, that's going to be a connective link that they may not get past and say he had to have killed her too. I mean, you tell me how I should be thinking about it.
Listen, you can think about it however way you want to think about it. You can put your prosecutor hat on, you can put your defense attorney hat on. I'm thinking as a prosecutor, as a former prosecutor, I'm thinking I have an uphill battle because I have a second minor who she had sex with either days before or the same day. So was she having consensual sex with her stepbrother? Was this maybe not a rape? And does rape equal murder? No, absolutely not. So these are all questions then and holes that the defense will definitely be prying into.
I don't want to make accusations here, but just to be clear, you're saying there's a possibility, and correct me if I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. Is the defense going to use this evidence to tarnish the reputation of Anna, to cast her in a certain light in a way? And how exactly would they do that?
Easy.
Well, I hate to be the first one to say that, but that's what happens. You know, I've certainly sat on all sides of these cases as a former judge, as a former prosecutor, as a former defense attorney.
Now, she doesn't have a boyfriend. That was her ex-boyfriend. And here's the thing. We don't have any evidence because they're not showing the court files, right? The short answer is there's no evidence to say either or that Anna Kepner slept with anyone on the cruise or shortly before it. Nothing's in the unsealed transcripts, all right, in the surveillance summaries or investigative disclosures. But it suggests that she had sexual contact with anyone other than the alleged assault by her stepbrother, which prosecutors say occurred after she returned to the cabin feeling sick with the brother. Right now, surveillance video shows Anna returning to the room alone at 7:38 on November 6th and never coming out again until they bring her body out. All right, the FBI focuses entirely on the movements of the stepbrother and the disposal of the phone. Court documents describe the sexual contact as aggravated sex abuse, meaning it was non-consensual and part of the homicide. And there's zero mention in any of this prior sexual activity with another person. It referenced in the hearings, it only ties to the stepbrother. That just put a little more complication and gave the defense something. But the way that they can find out, law enforcement, they take a guess, just like we do. But they have an educated guess of saying, yeah, she probably had sex with somebody besides Timothy, either a day, anywhere from 24 to 48 hours before. They're saying after that, it's really hard to tell. And especially with the way he left her body and shoved their panties and twisted them up there and did all that. Okay. So I don't think that's the case either. I think it was someone on the cruise ship. He caught wind, and that's a good motive right there.
If I'm thinking like a defense attorney, I'm thinking she's having sex with other minors. She's having sex with the stepbrother. As a defense attorney, you can throw a plethora of reasonable doubt at the wall and see what sticks. As a prosecutor, you have to wear the white hat. You have to seek justice in everything that you do, and you have to have evidence that collaborates every single thing that you're putting forth to that jury. So it's not equal. It's not both sides, as you know, Jesse.
Well, I know, but at the same time, if you're taking the prosecution's allegations that he was the only one in that room with her, and now you add this, we go circle back to the top of the conversation that, you know, maybe if they're going to try to present this to show that he was jealous and, you know, what was going on here, it becomes a very different case. So it does depend how you look at it. It's just an interesting development nonetheless. Judge, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesse. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, we got so much more because there's so many things. I'm only going to start with this one because I want you to see some of the timelines that came in. And then, guys, we don't watch Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan enough. And this just came out. It's interesting because we like Joseph Scott Morgan a lot. We value his opinion and his presence, and he's got his own damn channel. So he's on Nancy Grace's quite a bit, breaking down segments. Why not go to his? All right, let's continue. We will get there. She said yes to the first and no to the stepbrother. The act of shoving the underwear means that most killers don't do. Yeah, I think that showed the I think it absolutely showed where his mind frame was and the anger behind it. Okay, because you don't twist underwears and shove them up somewhere like that after mechanically asphyxiating them, which, guys, we're totally getting into that as well next. When you hear about what he did and the eardrums breaking out, you're going to be thinking a lot different than even now. All right. Choo choo. Thank you. In my opinion, the stepbrother saw or knew she slept with someone else and it pissed him off. That's why the violence. I agree. And here's the problem. Well, there's two things. It's a double-edged sword. Number one, the first edge of the sword, now that can be used for the defense in a way to say, she's a whore. She was sleeping with someone else. I didn't do that. And the second thing is that can be used against him, saying, oh, there's the motive. So you see what I'm saying here? All right. Weren't they on a 7-day cruise? Most cruises are 7 days. So I'm going to assume that until I hear different. But let's come to this, because this is telling. And I love when they keep adding stuff to it. So you got the mystery DNA, Roxteen's cruise ship, and then they start here on the timeline, which I wanted to talk about. So we got 7:35 p.m. Documents claim Timothy goes into the stateroom. 3 minutes later, Anna Kepner is going in there too. All right. Then we've got less than 20 minutes, and Anna's older brother enters the room, and then he leaves again. So that, I don't know, did this happen within that short of a period? Because 2.5 hours later, he comes back alone, and he says in the next hour, he's in there for a good amount of time, moving in and out of the room, right? An hour later, the minor half-brother goes to the cabin, he told the FBI he didn't see the sister, leaves a couple minutes later at 11:23, 20 minutes later, Hudson goes in and out of the cabin at 11:44, and at 12:09, just after midnight, the 13-year-old is not allowed. Her 13-year-old half-brother, not the step, isn't allowed in the room because he goes in the room and it's alleged that he sleeps without knowing his sister's body is just beneath the bed. Right? Let's continue.
Of what they say, Hudson.
Right, so I already went through
Documents then show Hudson going in and out of the cabin 2 more times between 10:12 and 10:49. Then at 10:53.
And we're not watching this whole thing. I got lots for you today. Flojo, what's up, my guy? Today is what? Wednesday. So what's up? Good to see you, buddy. It's always a pleasure. I'm always looking for your shows. Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It could be the motive, or it could be him using that as a defense. This guy's a sicko. In my opinion, he's got other things wrong with him that I'm sure they'll diagnose later on. However, he is in my opinion, a psychopath. He has no remorse, no care in the world except for himself.
He puts a privacy sign on the door. He then goes back to the cabin just after 11 o'clock at night. And then shortly later at 11:21, the minor half-brother goes into the cabin, and he told the FBI he didn't see his sister inside the cabin. He then leaves a couple minutes later at 11:23. Hudson allegedly goes in and out of the cabin at 11:44. Just after midnight at 12:09, you then see the 13-year-old who tries to get into the cabin, and that is when Timothy Hudson allegedly tells him not to come inside, and he forces him to wait.
And I'm still surprised that nothing happened after that. No kind of repercussions. He didn't go tell. He didn't say, man, something's wrong. Which I'm never gonna blame a victim, especially that's a minor, but still.
That said, they found it in a trash bin, and it appeared that phone was damaged and smashed. Now, here are some more details. According to investigators, surveillance video allegedly shows Timothy Hudson leaving the cabin at 9:26 in the morning, the day after Kepner was killed. Then he returns at 9:48 in the morning. He then leaves the cabin again at 9:50, and it appears, according to authorities, he had something in his hand. Authorities then follow him on camera as they're following this CC.
Now, listen, guys, he's so up until now. If you guys have a chance later, go back and watch my playlist. I probably have 10 or more episodes, and all the questions that I can't answer today will already have been answered. He already pleaded not guilty. Okay, but you got to remember, when the CCTV footage shows that the last person to go in the room was him or her with him, and she never came out again alive, that means a lot. Okay, so yes, he pled not guilty thus far. Right, and then this just talks about 22 trash bin, approximately 22 seconds. He observed returning back and forth, dumps a phone, then goes back into the cabin. This guy is
here. But related to DNA, there has been a big twist in this
no,
case.
of course not.
Also, before I get into this part, I do want to tell you that all our Anna Kepner related documents that have been unsealed, you can find them on our Law and Crime Plus app, just in case you want to review them yourself. So here's what we know. The medical examiner conducted a rape kit on Anna, and there's a swab that allegedly came back as a hit on Timothy Hudson's DNA, according to investigators. But this is the twist. There was also a hit to someone who authorities are calling minor witness 2 in these documents, and they say it is a boy who lives out of state, and they say he had intercourse with Anna on this cruise.
So do you see what happened? We just heard that. Now you guys, so I don't always want to answer all the questions at the beginning because I haven't got to present the case, but I love the fact that you guys as a crime crew just want to know. You want to know. So this minor is from out of state. Again, guys, this is a cruise. Many people come to Florida to board the cruise to go somewhere else. People fly from California to Florida to board the cruise. All right. My suspicion, what if both parents are weird, freakish groomers? The dad seems off and the kid's a psychopath. Just a hunch. I mean, nothing's really off the table yet. I know, exactly. What's up, Low Red? All right, let's continue. So, yes, there's your answer. It was a young male that was still a teenager on the cruise that she had sex with. And hey, rock on, girl.
Now, it's unclear what the circumstances are
That-
surrounding
not-
that individual
not
and
good.
whether it could raise any doubt as to what
That's
happened.
her. That's
Now,
Anna
the video
Kepner.
only shows the CCTV footage, Hudson,
Thank you.
the 13-year-old half-brother, and Kepner going into that room. And then you have the half-brother who's been ruled out as far as being a DNA contributor. The medical examiner says that Timothy Hudson allegedly sexually assaulted Anna before she died. Now, what Timothy Hudson is accused of, it's horrific. And even though he is facing these major charges, again, he's not behind bars. This is video of him going into court last week, his dad by his side. Prosecutors have said they believe he's a danger to the community. I mean, we just laid out what he's accused of doing. It is terrifying. But he is not being held in pretrial detention. The defense says that the conditions that he's living under right now, that they're sufficient. The conditions were put in place for him to live with.
No, the judge doesn't feel that way. The judge is trying to figure out how to lock him up without getting a repercussion. All right, there's repercussions for putting a minor, so we'll see what happens. Yes, they absolutely did FloJo. They did not name the name. They identified the individual. They reached out to him and his parents. They talked to him. They got the story. They know who it is, what it is, how it is, what happened, etc., etc. All right, let's continue. I got so much more. We're going to get into the bar hold and the broken eardrums after this.
With his uncle when he was charged as a juvenile, and they say he has followed that to a T the entire time. Now, the judge made an interesting ruling at this detention hearing that we were following last week, because the judge said that Hudson can continue to live with family for now, but he's also having the U.S. Marshals look for a potential spot that would work for Hudson and be close to where his family lives on the Gulf Coast. Now, again, Timothy Hudson's just 16 years old.
Yes.
And the judge said if he were older, it wouldn't really be a question of whether Timothy Hudson should be locked up pre-trial. Join us now once again to talk about this case from Florida, former state attorney for Palm Beach County, Dave Ehrenberg. Thanks for being here. You read through, it's 145 pages, but there's about like 20 of them that really lays out a specific narrative that the FBI put together in investigating this case. What stood out to you, if you're a prosecutor on this case? I mean, what does this mean for Timothy Hudson?
What stood out to me, Chris, is the consciousness of guilt. And here you have the defendant who is caught on camera looking both ways as he leaves. the room, and then he takes great pains to block his brother from entering the room. He said, wait outside, because he was supposedly changed.
So there's Anna Kepner. When they docked, they brought her out. They were on the last day. They were about to dock. And this is how Anna Kepner came out, guys. May she rest in peace and get the justice she deserved. This did not need to happen. I mean, there's a lot of preventable cases, but this was very preventable and very obvious. And I can't believe it still happened.
And the brother thought it was unusual because all the lights were on, the curtain doors were open, and it was clear who was the last person seen with the victim. But as far as consciousness of guilt, then you have him walking around the ship on camera with the cell phone that was Anna Kepner's, and looking and then for a place to hide it. And then for a while, he's there at the location where the phone was hidden, putting the phone in location. Who does that unless you are the one who murdered Anna Kepner?
You know, in the part two, like the next morning, I think it's around 9:30 or so. So this is after the crew members, according to the FBI, they find her body. And then you just think of the commotion that would be going on. And they say that Timothy Hudson walks by the room and he doesn't really look in. You know, I mean, this is his room that they're staying in, and he kind of goes by and he like doesn't, you know, he just looks straight forward as he passes it. At the same time, you know, body language can be very subjective. You know, it can mean a lot of different things depending on the lens that you're looking at through. Like, how does the court typically see those types of pieces of information? Like, how likely is it that any of that gets into trial where, you know, a juror could look at it and say, okay, like maybe he's, you know, for whatever reason, looking another direction, or maybe he's looking out of the room because something else was going on. When it comes to being so subjective, like, how likely is it that those items get into what the prosecutors want to say?
Well, the question is it relevant evidence? And then it would be admitted. And then it's up to the jurors to put together the puzzle. So pieces of the puzzle, you know, well, who was the last person seen with Anna Kepner? And then obviously you have all the forensic evidence. You have all the evidence of her murder, the sexual.
All right, we're not going to get into all this. There's just a few things I wanted to talk about the DNA.
Former boyfriend of Anna, who said that this defendant had acted in a creepy way around Anna in the past, that he was obsessed with her, she knew it, and yet the family seems to just look the other way when this is all going on.
Yeah, and you know, you hear the arrangements of the rooms that were set up, and just the parents were across.
And somebody had asked earlier about the other child. I believe the other younger child was allegedly in the room with the parents. All right, so I'm going to pull this down, and then pull this up. I want to start talking about the what was just unsealed, the unsealed documents that expose the new details in the case about Anna's eardrums busting. So he talks about them bursting. He says it plays a significant role. It shows his anger, and that she probably would look, when they found her, upper body and face to be purple like an eggplant. All right. He explains the circle of Willis is a vascular path and how understanding blood supply to the brain is crucial. And then we're going to get into the details on how the eardrums burst. But his highlights, Brother Dave highlights the warning signs of Anna's stepbrother's aggression towards her, and the family's decision to place Anna and the stepbrother in the same room, in a cruise, in a cabin. All right, so let's get to this. Thank you guys for being here with me. I appreciate you. And you guys know how I try to get the most up-to-date information, or information I just have, frankly, not shared with you ever on my channel. So thank you for being here. Hit that like button if you're coming in. Hit that like button if you're going out, and please do hype the channel. Okay? All right? And all Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, etc. all helps. I tried to gift you guys a membership right now. I tried to gift memberships and it got declined, guys. You know what happened? And thank you to Mama Pearl that gave me these. Did you guys know that? So in Vegas, both me and Mrs. Guilty got fraud on our cards. If you don't keep your card in a wallet that's protected, people walk around with scanners and steal your number. There's 111 people in here, 111. Let's say a prayer that justice is served and Timothy Hudson gets the harshest that he can, because he is a reoffender. In my opinion, he will be. All right, let's continue. Eardrum busting, a mechanical asphyxiation, right, with the arm hold and the eardrum bust.
I am so glad you brought this up, because this goes right to the heart of the matter. And listen, I've got to tell you something. When this thing first kicked off, I was very curious how they arrived at this conclusion of armbar. Because armbar, I'm familiar with it because I've worked cases for years and years, particularly involving police officers. Because, you know, this is something that has been done traditionally in the past to restrain somebody. Okay. And we went from armbar, okay, to chokehold. And they knew that armbar was bad. Well, why is it bad? Well, it's kind of logical. So if we got something with a leading edge on it, okay, like what's referred to as the blade of your arm, right here, okay. Well, if you've got this hard surface, your forearm, and you're taking it and you're pressing it down like this, that's a mechanism. Okay. I was fascinated how they drew this conclusion, David. And, you know, and the reason, this is why, this is how my crazy mind works. With every other case that I've been associated with that had to do with a restraint or something like that, and the word armbar, think about wrestling, or as we say down here in South, wrestling. Right?
I was thinking about the Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix right now.
Yeah, and you've told me to watch it, so I'm going to follow your recommendation. So I'm going to check it out. But you know, we see demonstrations in mano contact, right? And so if you're thinking,
all right, just quickly, guys, let me tell you. So right when I got here, and we don't know when the trials goes yet, because they keep on they keep putting filing motions and doing things to delay. That's typically what you do, is delay. So no trial date has been set. All right, but when I got on to YouTube tonight and StreamYard, they wouldn't let me on. They said StreamYard is too busy. Try again in 60 seconds. And they did that again and again. So if something's glitching, I apologize. It's going to be StreamYard and YouTube. All right. I like how Joseph Scott Morgan has a bright background in his videos and not StreamYard. Right? I don't know why Nancy does that whole dark thing.
Thinking about an arm bar, that's something that generally has a witness to it.
What do you mean by a witness to it? I mean, there's proof somewhere in the pudding?
You know, because you can say manual strangulation, right? Manual, right?
Okay.
You can say ligature strangulation, because, you know, we've got the furrows. You can actually see where people grab hold of people by the neck. You'll see contused areas that are adjacent and soft tissues, those sorts of things. But, you know, they're talking about an arm bar.
Right.
And
that's what busted her eardrums.
How do you delineate between an arm bar and, I don't know, something else? Well, I think this is what has happened. I think. Don't know it for sure. First off, I think there's significant damage in the organs of her neck. I'm talking about probably the cartilaginous bodies in here, in her so-called, you know, windpipe. You know, we talk about the larynx and these structures in here.
Yeah, because he's going to get into right now. And thank you guys for hanging with me. We still got 100 people in chat. Again, I don't know where everybody is, but I appreciate the folks that are here. Thank you. Where is everybody today? I hope everybody really did want an update on this case, because so many updates come out so fast. It's like they give you one thing and they stretch it out for hours. So I'm trying to give you multiple things. And if you didn't realize that there was another DNA that Anna Kepner had inside of her, meaning that she had sex with someone else on the ship, that gives you a good idea of the motive. Or they can use the double-edged sword and use it against her, right? All right, let's continue. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Hammered by a storm. Okay. Well, that's probably why a lot of people are in and out. I don't know.
It's been compressed, Dave. And that kind of compression that takes place when you're putting the blade of the arm on here and pressing down, it has to have kind of a weird linear uniformity to it. Yeah. Here's the other thing I'm thinking. And this, when they saw this, I'm just wondering, did they think there's so much pressure here because of the color changes? And then what we're seeing in the neck, let's take a look at her inner ear. And doggone, they didn't go in there. And they're the ones saying this. This is the eardrum, the tympanic membrane is actually the official $10 words for it. They burst. So how do you arrive at that? Well, I believe that with an arm bar, which again, they're saying that
right.
It ain't Joe Scott Morgan, it ain't Brother Dave.
Yeah, so he's gonna get into it, but guys, you could, if you're a medical examiner and you've been doing this a long time, you would notice the difference between an arm bar versus if he used let's say he grabbed a mop or a broom and choked her with that, or ligature, right? Ligature marks and maybe a rope or anything. That's not what he did. He manually did it using his own arm, and then he busted out her eardrum so bad, which we're gonna hear at the same time. While that was happening, there was so much pressure on her. They equated the pressure that it would be if somebody, when you go diving underwater and you start to feel that, like you go to the bottom of a pool and your head starts to feel all like, whoa, or you go to the beach and you go down and you start, that would be equivalent to how she felt as he was choking her with the arm bar hold, and how it busted her eardrums out.
All right. They're saying that there had to have been so much pressure that would have built up. Remember, I talked about those vessels that supply these areas, that the vessels would have burst within the membrane. Okay. Which would have been markedly painful. Now, I don't know if she would have had an awareness of it. I hope she didn't, because keep in mind, it's not just the vessels that are dealing with this pressure. She's struggling for breath. The pain in her ears, that's the least of these. But what it does demonstrate, and this is very powerful, and it will it's going to be very powerful in court as well. All right.
Thank you. So, Crazy Jane, you're probably the 7th or 8th person in the last week that has asked me to cover Eve's mom again. All right. And if you want to send me an email, please do, because I can cover that tomorrow if you're able to help me. And when I say help me, send me the info you have. Guilty of crime. See at the very bottom, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. If anyone's interested, I can say that. You can say the name, but I want to stream it. I want to know what the new channel is, because you're not the only one that's messaged me. There's other people messaged me saying we need to stop this lady from stealing people's money. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things behind that. So you're not the only one, Crazy Jane. And if you would email me, that would be the best. I can cover it tomorrow if you can get that over. All right. I would love to cover it, as I've told every single other person. All right. Michael, thank you so much for the $5 choo choo. He says, I got 5 on it. You know what? Back in the days, 5 on it would get you like a little sack of some 5 on it. What are these? Seeds. I got 5 on it. I need to plant these seeds, by the way. All right. 5 on it. Thank you, Michael. I do appreciate you. Who's Eve's mom? Crazy Jane, do you want to elaborate in chat who Eve is and what this is about? But please email me, because I would love to cover it. There's a lot of people that want me to cover it.
Watch. Mark my words today. Write this date down. They're going to talk about pounds per PSI that it takes to do this compression. I don't know how they're going to calculate that, but this always comes up in all of these cases like this, where you're talking about the amount of force that is required in order to create trauma like this. And they're going to ask that forensic pathologist from Dade County,
a lot of people,
Miami-Dade County, that did this autopsy. Hey, doc, how many pounds per square inch of pressure did this require in order to facilitate, these inner ear issues? Here's another thing, and maybe this just goes to the nature of the office itself. They deal in Miami with a lot of diving injuries,
right?
So now we're going to talk about the pressure, because I want you to understand the pressure. All right. While this was happening, while she was being raped, by the way, they believe she was being raped. And during the rape, he was choking her. While that was all going on, her ears were literally busting. They're so bad that they're going to use that as evidence. All right. There's my email. I don't know what Foxy's got going on. Bitch, send me some. Use chat. And again, we also have Saucy Skin CBD, my friends. Justin's that glamour pause face. All right, let's continue. Thank you all for being here. Hit that like button, subscribe, share, and hype.
Okay. And so that's probably part of their protocol. For all I know, every single person that they do autopsies on down there, they go in and they do a very detailed dissection of the inner ear canal.
Okay.
That's crazy.
But it's just not. It's not something that's standardly done. I'm fascinated by this element.
Is that something, the burst eardrums? Is that something that could happen post-mortem?
No.
Okay.
No,
so,
it requires pressure in order for it to happen.
Damn,
it's anybody that's ever flown, you know, I have terrible pain in my ears when I fly, and just got off a plane yesterday. I was acutely reminded of that. People that fly, we've recently had this case of this NASCAR fellow that forgive me, I can't remember his name.
Charlotte, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that had passed on, and they were talking about the number of G's he would pull, right? Well, he apparently has been diagnosed with pneumonia. I don't know, you know, relative to head congestion. Do you know that pilots, Air Force has protocol for this? Like, if you're a fighter pilot, you can't. Well, you don't have to be a fighter pilot, any kind of pilot. You can't fly with like head cold, all right? Because the pressure that builds up. And there are cases where fighter pilots have burst their eardrums. A lot of that is because, you know, that's why they wear a G suit, right? So that they can keep the blood flowing and that sort of thing. Well, and to keep the blood to the brain is a huge deal for them, right? So you take that data and you apply it to this flow through here, and it's blocked, being compressed down on like this. Right. It ain't going nowhere. So that liquid, which is very viscous, blood is very viscous.
I mean, this is why I love Joseph Scott Morgan, because the description, you just don't forget it. All right. You don't forget what he's saying when he tells you this. He's captivating with what he's talking about. And next time, well, we're definitely going to know something even more. Crazy Jane, thank you. Eve Rogers was found dead in Connecticut, 12 years old, essayed by the stepfather. Her mom, Melanie Federline, we covered this case 2 weeks ago. Possibly unaliving charges for Anthony Federline. However, the mom and Anthony Federline and Eve Rogers' mom scammed money, telling the audience that Eve passed. She passed very, what was it? She was very peaceful when she passed. Big deal. Oh my God, Crazy Jane. I just went into my email and I looked up Eve, and there's so many people, different people, 7, 8 different names of people that messaged me that want me to cover this case. So anything you can send me would be helpful. All right.
It's thick. It's going to seek that weakest point. Okay. And for whatever reason, contained within the eardrums.
Thank you, Donna.
That pressure built up in there and they burst. Now I'm going to be very fascinated to see, I think, the diagnosis and what it's going to look like, because they'll have they'll have imagery from the autopsy, that's going to demonstrate this. And that's going to be, Dave, I cannot tell our friends out here how impactful this is going to be, because if you see a gunshot wound in court, all right, and you see, okay, well, they've got a hole in their liver, all right, and this caused their death as a result of them bleeding out. Just imagine when they take this child's eardrums and they've taken them out and they've got them on a dissecting board with an arrow pointing to it, and they say, her eardrums burst because of so much pressure.
And it's going to come up, Joe, because what we do know and coming up, what happened aboard that ship that's going to show up in court is going to shock you. But the defense actually is already grilling the FBI over, did you find DNA on this, what caused, the asphyxiation? Did you find any DNA in there? Did you look for any? And can you determine if the person who deposited DNA on or in Anna's body was the same person that left DNA on her neck? I mean, they're going that far with this to try to tie the two together. And I'm going to tell you, it's like a magician, Joe. Hey, watch this hand, look over here, and don't pay attention to this one. But here's the deal, Joe. We know for a fact, and I've said this twice before, this will be 3 times this show. We know for a fact Anna Kepner left dinner with her family saying she didn't feel well. She went back to the cabin that she was sharing with her stepbrother, Timothy Hudson. Now, they arrived close together in terms of time.
3 minutes apart.
Anna Kepner never left the room again.
But
Timothy Hudson left several
times.
Anna Kepner did not.
Bottom line, when the jury sees that and they're given the evidence, and yes, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to put this up because, guys, I do know they weren't married very long. They were still kind of in the honeymoon phase, and I went ahead and found it. I don't think Tiff is here anymore. I don't know. Maybe she didn't hear me. Cat Sear wanted to say, hey, I'm here. Just might nap at any second, but supportive. Well, thank you, Cat Sear. Hit that like button and relax. I really felt this new channel. Okay, Phoenix Ember Terror. That'd be awesome, though, if you'd email me, because I'm not going to remember this for tomorrow. All right. And I'm on it, dude. Crazy Jane, listen to me. I got you. Tomorrow at 6. Is it Central? Is it Pacific? Is it Eastern? That's what I need to know. And I'll cover the crap out of it. Now, here you go. For those of you who are asking about the family dynamics, who, when, what, where, why, how, what, right? That's Anna Kepner. That's our victim at the very top. All right. Her biological dad, which we saw at the beginning with that nasty looking beard, and his new wife, Chantel Kepner. So Anna Kepner, right down the middle. Her biological mom is Heather Wright, the lady on the right. Biological dad is Christopher Kepner on the left. We saw him a bit ago with Chantel Kepner. People said she looked 12 years old. I assure you, she's not. However, Christopher Kepner, when he was with Heather Wright, Anna Kepner's mom, biological parents, Heather Wright, you're going to see in a segment here that says that he cheated on her at least 12 times. Okay, now mind you, Christopher Kepner cheated on Heather Wright with Tabitha. Her name wasn't Kepner, it was Tabitha. We'll call her Tabitha Nanny, right? She was the nanny, the housekeeper, whatever. And Christopher Kepner cheated on Heather Wright with Tabitha. They were married from 2011 to 2023. Okay, what is that? 12 years, something like that. Okay. Then, right after that, 2023, he gets divorced and he marries Chantel in 2024. Now, present day, we're in 2026. This happened last year in 2025. At the time, they were married for only 9 months. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys to understand the dynamic. Timothy Hudson is the alleged suspect at this point, and hopefully you can follow that chart. Christopher Kepner has 3 different women alone on this image, and who knows what other women that he was cheating with and what else he was doing. All right, let's get back to it then. Hopefully that helps you guys.
She went into that room, she died in that room, and her body was found in that room. So anything else that goes on is a mind game, okay? But it's going to have to be answered. And Joe, that's why I was asking you about the armbar and strangulation and all those different things, because I'm trying to figure out where is the defense headed with these preliminary questions that are popping up in the trial in the transcripts coming from court hearings. Because what does it matter? I mean, I'm not trying to dismiss the death of a child, of a teen at all. I'm just trying to figure out, we know she didn't come out. We know who went in. I mean, I know that's all circumstantial, but are we not allowed to use our brain just a little bit?
Yeah, and this is important because the idea is you have to eliminate. And now, we've got another person that has entered onto the stage, have we not? Because there has been found deposition that they found of an unidentified subject. And Dave, I think this individual has been at least alluded to in this report that was dumped, this data dump that I mentioned earlier, right? As a teen minor, correct? Is that accurate?
Another minor.
All right, so now we're talking about the teen minor that belongs to that DNA. Will we ever get the name? Maybe, because maybe he was 17, going to be 18, and when the trial comes, he has to testify. Yeah, I was hanging out with her. We liked each other. We started, whatever. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And maybe we will find out who it is. But right now, it's a teen male DNA found inside of Anna Kepner. All right. They allege that she had sex with him a day or 2 before she was raped by Timothy Hudson, her stepbrother. All right. All right.
Under team on the cruise ship that after Anna Kepner's death, the FBI sought out DNA from this unnamed minor male aboard the cruise ship.
Yeah, and that too is going to be the tail of the tape, because it's very important.
Crazy.
We can draw any number of conclusions, I think, but again, as we always say here on Body Bags, the science will always be the tail of the tape.
Hold on. Sorry, guys.
About the rape kit that was done on Anna Kepner, because they did a rape kit on the boat.
We're going to talk about this for a second, and then we're going to hop into some new stuff. All right, we still are going to talk about the DNA being revealed in the case, but the mechanical asphyxiation with the 2 bruises on the neck and the arm bar hold and all the things that tie this together, all right, and as well as blood or sperm that were on the microscopic or in the microscopic evidence when they examined the stepbrother's clothes, right? There's a lot, guys. There's a lot. So let's get you caught up on this. We'll be here for a minute, and then I'm going to hop to the next thing. Of course, we're still talking about this.
Apparently. And then they shipped the rape kit to Quantico. So the FBI performed the rape kit, and the lab compared the DNA, and I'm getting this right from my info here because I want to be very clear.
Sure.
The lab compared the DNA from the rape kit with DNA from Anna's stepbrother, Timothy Hudson, as well as one other male.
Yes.
The mystery male did not match the DNA. He has never been accused, charged, or named as a suspect in any crime related to Anna's death. And this mystery DNA that was found, they identified all of that and then arrested Timothy Hudson, the stepbrother. So I wanted to make sure we were clear on how they eliminated every possible, even though you've got surveillance footage showing going into the room, one coming out and the other never coming out alive,
Gotcha.
Even though they've got this hardcore DNA evidence that they perform. Now, Joe, you've talked about doing a rape kit.
Yes.
And when you have a situation like we have here, where you have you've got a teenager on a boat, on a cruise, on a family vacation, and now you're having to perform all of this, including you've got to figure out what happened.
Yes.
Where does it start? How do you, as the ME, or who does all that work, and where does it happen? Because we've got the FBI sending stuff to Quantico, and we got,
Yeah,
I want to talk about after this. We're going to move to the next thing, but I really do find this fascinating that they did a rape kit on the actual boat or the ship. All right, how'd they do that? Where'd they do that? What? All right, twin mommy, 2 boys. Remember, for 25 months, man, 2 years and a month. Love you guys, and we love you back. We're here for you. I hope you're still doing well in the fight for your children. I hope work's going well. Much love to you. And guys, summertime's here. I don't know if it's official, but it's hot. And summertime's here. And the pool and the water and the beach and the lake, they're calling. Just saying. All right, let's continue. Check this out. Listen up here. This is crazy.
And so I'm fascinated by this idea that a rape kit was performed on board. And I really wonder, where was it performed? In the sense of in the room, in the medical area, at on board the ship, the clinic. They all have clinics on them. I'm wondering where this was done, and I'm wondering about the qualifications of the individual that took the rape kit, because you have to have a certain understanding of how to perform one of these. So did they actually have someone there that was certified in order to do this? Because when we say rape kit, Dave, there's more to it than merely doing swabs. We do hair pluckings. We do hair combings. We use fine tooth comb to comb through pubic hair. We pluck hair samples. There's a number of things. We do nail scrapings, and I know sometimes those things are connected and sometimes they're not. But
I wonder what they had on that cruise ship, or how they were able to collect that, or did they collect it after? Which I don't know. That's weird. I'm wondering that too. Although I never want to really find out the answer. But what?
But it's fascinating that if they did it on board, who did it?
Yeah.
Now, I think it'll be okay as long as the chain is not broken. Chain of custody, that is.
Right.
How was it secured once you took these samples? And then how did you, when I say secured,
Yes,
okay, just
of
follow me.
course.
Let's say they're out at sea, okay? You take a rape kit.
107.
And do you have 24/7 surveillance on the area where that rape kit is going to be stored? Because guess what happens at the ME's office if we do a rape kit? We have limited access areas that are designated and are actually, it's part of your certification, accreditation, that you secure something. And that could be a problem. I want to know how.
Yeah, how and what, and let's hope that doesn't hinder this case. Now, Sadie's mama, like I said at the beginning, probably the second part, the middle half, and now, this is a double-edged sword, in my opinion. And the second teenage male DNA that was revealed and that they've now talked to will absolutely play a factor in this trial. They are absolutely, any defense that I know, any good defense would use that as a defense and say, hey, man, Anna was into it. Her and Timothy messed around before. They had sex that night. This other dude, however, that she had sex with, I don't know what happened with them. I mean, they're going to use anything and everything. So yes, and yes, that they're going to put this out there. Now, this has nothing to do, I don't think that it's going to have anything to do with it being a minor. My whole point is the reason they're talking about it being a minor is because they're not naming this person. If this person was 19 or 20 and his name was whatever, Joshua Smith, they would name him, but they can't because he's underage. That's not going to affect anything with her, in my opinion.
I was secured. Who maintained that security throughout that period of time? I'm not saying, just understand, I'm thinking from the perspective of what the defense is going to try to do with this. All right. Mm-hmm. They're going to try to shoot holes in this. Right. Okay.
Of course.
Most of the time, human remains are taken obviously to the ME's office, and qualified people do the post-mortem rape kit. Okay. This is not an anti-mortem rape kit. It's completely different. And we maintain chain of custody. There's like this huge litany of signatures that's involved. You've got barcodes where this thing is tracked. So accountability, Dave, is going to be the watchword in this particular case. How is that kit secured all along the way? It's saying that this thing is collected on board the ship. I can't imagine that someone sat with this thing in their lap, and I'm being facetious here. Yeah. And they went all the way up to, Virginia and put in a Newport News, and an FBI guy, came out, took it from the guy on the ship and went to Quantico with it. That's not, that didn't happen. So how do you guarantee a ship with a bunch of civilians on it? Because I got to tell you, the people that work as security on ships are not forensics people. They're not. We've talked about this in the beginning with this case about security of scene. So I need this explained more for me to try to understand.
All right. And we will, sir, especially since you're going back and forth on your channel, and I understand why, to Nancy's channel. So let's take a look real quick. I've got this all time stamped, as you can see here. Real quick, we're going to go into the 8-minute mark so you can hear about the eardrums busting. Then we're going to hop over to the clonidine and the chief medical examiner, what he said. And then we're going to hear from Anna Kepner's mom and her talking about the cheating of her father. All right, here we go.
That's a tremendous amount of pressure. It takes a lot of anger. We're going to find out at the end of the day how much evidence was collected and also how it was treated after it was in fact collected.
This little girl was a high school cheerleading star, a star in so many ways. She had all A's. She was already set to go into the military, had already spoken to recruiters, had her mind made up to serve her country. Now she's dead on a cruise ship. Maybe I'm the crazy one here. Straight out to Susan Hendricks joining us, her investigative journalist. Isn't it true, Susan Hendricks, that at first we were all told this little girl died 11/8, but now we're learning they even had the date wrong by 24 hours. She died 11/7, around 11:17 a.m. Isn't that true?
Yeah, and the cruise ship docked back when it was supposed to on Saturday. So we're learning now, you're right, 11/17 on Friday. We're trying to piece together exactly what happened, but it seemed like she loved cruises. She was excited to go.
This said what happened was Timothy Hudson is what happened. Let's continue. I'm not We're going to take a look at this 28, and then we're going to move forward.
In this case, were probably lost by that trip to the hospital. It really interrupted the chain of custody of a lot of evidence that would have been left on him, including potentially bodily fluids and things that may have been on his hands or on his clothes.
You know, Spencer Ehrenfield, you are my own personal chamber of horrors.
Guys.
I hadn't even thought of that yet. The fact that he goes straight into a hospital setting and his clothes could be God knows where. Robert Crispin, that's important. I want to see his clothes. I want to look for microscopic evidence. I want to look for blood. I want to look for sperm. I want to look for her blood. And yes, I want to see his underwear for obvious reasons. It's probably all gone, Robert.
I wonder if
It probably is, Nancy, hence the long delay before the ship got back to locking down the crime scene.
That is interesting, and I do wonder. It's interesting in a way of, like scientifically interesting that what he did. All right, number one. Number two, the anger and the jealousy that would need to be caused in order to take someone's life by bar hold, right? And how much force that he put with the bruises. And then after raping her, twisting and shoving her panties up inside of her. Guys, that says a lot about this. Yeah, what good parents put two teens from different marriages. I don't think that I literally don't think that they thought twice about it. They weren't paying attention to those kids. We know that the dad just thought with his dick all the time. You're going to hear it in a bit. All right. But I don't see the parents being charged. I haven't heard a peep about that. Right. And remember, Anna Kepner's brother, Timothy Hudson, does remain innocent until proven guilty. We all know that. All right.
Court fighting over custody of the younger children. Straight out to investigative journalist Susan Hendricks. Why am I having to learn all of this from a seemingly unrelated custody fight?
Because they're minors.
Absolutely. And the infighting, it's been going on a while, and we're getting information from this through that, as you said. And where is the outrage? The suspect's older brother.
Isn't that interesting that they were having such a battle of custody when, number one, Anna just turned 18, right? And number two, that dad seems, in my opinion, to be kind of a piece of shit. A womanizer, a person that doesn't really take care of his kids in the way that we would take care of ours. It's like, I'm a man. I had them. I got this new wife. She can watch them. Oh, what did you say, Anna, about your stepbrother? He did what? Yeah. Go talk to him. Go solve that. All right. Trotter Daughter says I was making a sandwich. All right, guys, hit the like if you come in, a like if you go out. Get yourself a membership. Gift yourself a membership. Let's go. All right, let's continue.
Stood out to me that he said he was put in a chokehold. So is that where I'm guessing that the suspect learned to do that? But you're right, Nancy. We are only hearing details through this somewhat unrelated hearing. It's just very complicated. I feel, you know what's missing? The outrage.
We wouldn't have heard anything. And I don't know if there's outrage missing, but there should be more the fact that this kid, Timothy, is walking around and free to do what he wants. Guys, he's a sicko, in my opinion. I believe he had these thoughts long before. He was stalking her. People said that he would watch her. He would look into windows and creep around. He was obsessed with her. And now that she's gone, who else is he going to be obsessed with?
Of this 18-year-old girl, Anna.
Yeah, everybody was sitting in court like they were all on sedatives talking about custody issues when Anna, we believe, is either nude or partially nude, dead, wrapped mummy style in a blanket and stuffed under a twin bed. Sydney, how long was it the parents didn't see Anna on the cruise and didn't check on her?
16 hours that Anna was not checked on, seen alive before her body is found, brutally stuffed under that bed, hidden, covered with these life jackets.
Susan Hendricks, do we have any idea where they were while Anna was stuffed dead under that twin bed?
Well, we heard this also at the emergency custody hearing. Anna's stepmom, Chantel, said that she went in her room at 7 p.m., that she was tired. She was there for the night, went to sleep. But again, we don't know what she was doing all day. She asked about
guys, 16 hours, right? She was at dinner. She left dinner because she said her teeth were hurting. Again, guys, she was 18 before she passed. Okay, she was 18, but that doesn't mean a damn thing. All right, we know how 18-year-olds are. Even now, especially nowadays, with all the luxuries they have, 18-year-olds are not old enough to dictate what they're doing, who stays in their room, and what's going on. These people, I can't comprehend it. What's up, One Love? Tell your mama hello. Meandering in and out like usual. I agree. Just wait. We're not even there yet. Hold your horses. Let's go.
Gambling. She said that Anna was 18, so she assumed she was in the casino. But again, no supervision. And guess what, Nancy? She was asked during this, Chantel on the stand, is it true that they stayed across the hall, all of them together? Her stepbrother, her biological brother, and her. And she said, yes, it was recommended by the travel agent.
Oh, yeah. I heard she tried to blame the travel agency. Okay. How are we finding out all of this information? Listen.
A family court hearing regarding Thomas Hudson's emergency petition.
All right, we've seen a lot of this. I am moving to 38 minutes right here.
Tonight, Anna is murdered.
Anna's brother heard a heated argument between them in their cabin the night before Anna was found dead. He heard the stepbrother yelling at Anna, the sounds of furniture overturning, and screams from inside their room.
He heard him yelling at her, like in a harmful way, of like, shut the hell up and stuff like that.
All right, so this was happening long before they went on a cruise, all right? Mab, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Donna's shouting out Mab. Did Turtle Island really start, guys? Her father should have hid his head in shame. How do you miss your child for... Yeah, I don't know. What's up, Sander? Or Sand Riggs? I don't know how... Sander Riggs. All right, my mom screaming hi from her room, Jay. Well, hi, Mama One Love. How you doing? Wasn't smart. What the F? All right. Mom watches you faithfully. Aw, thank you, Mom, for watching faithfully and helping the channel. I know. And if it's not the parents not doing something here, it's the parents' pure neglect. Nowadays, guys, in the last week, I've heard of at least 2 family annihilators. One being a woman that took the life of her husband and her children and then took herself, and a man that took his life after killing his entire family. This is not what should be happening. My mom says, hello, Mab. And then we got Sandy Riggs. Thank you. I would never have Sandy Riggs. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you. All right, check this out. We're getting to the good stuff. Again, this is new.
Like that. Like something was like banging around and stuff, and like the chairs were getting thrown around in the room.
Now, that is Anna Kepner's little ex-boyfriend, and he learned that information, obviously, from the younger brother. That's from our friends at Inside Edition. Let me understand, Susan Hendricks. I'm trying to figure out when the stepbrother, the little brother, the 14-year-old, is hearing chairs being thrown around and the 16-year-old yelling, shut the hell up at Anna. When you hear a physical fight going on, the little 14-year-old brother standing out in the hall, listening, cowering, afraid. So while Anna...
Okay, so when you see that picture, that's the picture that I used. Well, I have this picture without them all covered up. I've showed you plenty of times. Again, go back to my playlist. This is her stepmom. That's her biological dad. That's Anna. And there's the little jerk off, Timothy Hudson right here. Okay. They had other children. As you can see, those children allegedly stayed in the room with the parents. They were too young. But this guy, who is her half brother, and this guy's stepbrother, they stayed in that room together and didn't even check on her for 16 hours at that time. Her teeth were hurting. They were doing what? What did the parents do? What? All right, let's continue. And again, carnival policies are clear. Only guests 21 and over are served alcohol. Bullshit. All right, they can say all they want. Guests may not purchase alcohol for minors, yada, yada, yada. Our system alerts the bar staff. Bullshit. That's all I got to say about that. That is BS to the max. All right, let's continue.
They'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Don't be a victim. Protect your home equity today.
Protect your home equity. Back to, Anna's mom. All right. We're going to start here with Anna's mom.
Logical mother have to say about all of this. Listen.
You cheated on me with 24 other women, including
24.
Then you married her.
He cheated with me. He cheated on me. I thought she said 12, guys. He cheated with 24 different women. And you got to remember, one of them was their young nanny, housekeeper / whatever, right?
After she turned 18. And I'm not okay with that. Mind you, I say that, but I'm not mad at Tabitha. Tabitha is a great person. She was a mother to my daughter when I couldn't be.
By the time Anna is 5, Christopher Kepner is having an affair with a teenage babysitter. When Tabitha Donahue turns 18, Chris marries her, and they have 2 children together. Heather has a hard time maintaining a relationship with Anna due to the bitter divorce with Chris.
That from @JustMom1984.
But do you see how that went into a full circle? They explained it, but without that map of showing you who goes where and what, it's really hard to picture what the hell is going on.
Or TikTok. Joining me right now is the bio mom, the biological mother of Anna Kepner, the teen cheerleader, Sister Crystal Wright. Thank you for being with us, Ms. Wright.
Okay.
How is the bio mom handling everything that she is learning about her daughter's death?
I think she's trying to keep it together.
I've
she's
not
trying
heard
to do right for Anna and make sure that those that are accountable are held accountable.
What does she make of the fact there is no arrest yet?
She is beside herself, but at the same time, she's just trying to tell herself that it's because they want to make sure they get him properly charged and that his charge is able to uphold in court so that he does face his time.
To Heather's understanding, what has she been told? Certainly, law enforcement has briefed Anna Kepner's biological mother about what happened.
Yeah, no, Heather doesn't know anything. She finds out.
Has anyone heard this yet? Because I hadn't even heard this. She's lucky she didn't catch a case. This poor girl didn't stand a chance. I agree. But at the same time, she was almost out, Auntie Ree. She was about to graduate. She was going to the Navy. She was a cheerleader. She had interests. She had aspirations. She was beautiful. She dated. She broke up. Those are the things you do. I feel like she was that close of getting out of there, and she just didn't. Man, this is... Did the brother? That's what we're saying. That can be used as a double-edged sword. We're assuming that the brother knew that she slept with the other guy since it was on the cruise, or maybe he caught wind of it, guys. Now think about it, One Love. Maybe when they were on the cruise ship, right? All 3 of them slept in the room. We've got Anna, we've got Timothy Hudson, and then Anna's half brother. What if Anna didn't go back to the room 2 or 3 nights ago? And then she walked in, the walk of shame. And Timothy says, well, where were you last night? And he goes and finds out that. Absolutely. It could be a double-edged sword. We don't know. We actually don't know. These are unsealed documents that just came out. Okay. It could be. Nothing's off the table at this point. What's up, Honey Wills? Good to see you. What I'm saying is the mom should have some kind of charges. Which mom? Do you mean Timothy Hudson's mom? Let's continue.
From the news, she just sits and waits for the news.
That is horrible. No one is speaking to her and telling her what happened to her daughter? Isn't it true, Crystal, that the bio mom, Heather Wright, had to sneak into her own daughter's memorial?
Yep.
She did. Chris had told her that if she attempted to come, that he was going to have her arrested for back child support.
He never once tried to call me, get a hold of me, and anything.
Can you believe that? What a piece of shit This guy cheated on her 24 times. She birthed some of his biological children, and he didn't let her go to Anna Kepner's funeral, or he was going to call the cops and get her for back pay in child support. Now, guys, I got to tell you, there's no cutoff. If she hasn't paid child support for Anna Kepner, let's say ever, it doesn't matter if Anna Kepner's 38. They're still going to collect child support forever as long as she's alive. So I want you to understand that. I agree, but both parents of what? Die of fucking biological, right? All right, let's continue. That's so sad to me to block a mom from seeing her daughter and being at the funeral. Just I can't comprehend that. Who has that much hate in them to do that?
When she died, I found out through Google.
From Wish too. That is heartbreaking. The biological mother, Heather Wright, has had nothing but trouble since her split with Christopher Kepner. Listen.
Christopher made it next to impossible for me to have a relationship with my daughter. He made it extremely hard for me to see her. He would ignore my phone calls, not tell Anna that I called, and then call like a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And Anna would be like, Mom, why haven't you called me? And I'm like, I've been calling you.
She didn't know.
You didn't hear my voicemails? Your dad didn't listen to him? No, he said you haven't called.
Joining us, in addition to an all-star panel of experts, is the man who captured video of Anna Kepner, the teen cheerleader found stuffed dead. We still don't know whether she was clothed or unclothed, crammed under a
Guys, they did say she was unclothed. I did read an article where they talked about the father after the housekeeper came in and found that there was a dead body under. She didn't have to investigate too long, nor did she unwrap her or touch her or any of that. However, she did call the dad into the room, and the dad pulled her out and uncovered her, and they stated at that time that she was naked. Now, she did it. Anna absolutely had a phone, and it was discarded by the alleged killer. All right. But there's other children involved, Janet. It's not just her. So that's what Anna's mom's talking about.
On a cruise line, there she is, obscured by life vests, and her body there for hours and hours before anyone even notices she's missing. Where were the parents, for Pete's sake?
Yep.
A guy named Nick Giddens was taking video on the cruise line of a big party the night before, a dance party. And here she is.
Yep.
There is Anna.
She had to sneak in.
So happy, so full of life, dancing in a line dance. It's hard to accept. She would be dead, her body decomposing on a cruise.
It's also hard to accept that this little psychopathic piece of garbage stepbrother was probably over here somewhere or over on this side watching her dance and fixating on her. That's disgusting. And the fact that he's out and able to do that to anyone and everyone it's disgusting. And they need to figure out how to change the laws, because it's getting younger and younger. Folks, younger and younger children are committing these crimes that are unheard of, that we've never heard of. A 10 or 11-year-old going and shooting their mom and then calling friends and saying, hey, all right, or whatever. There's a lot of these cases now. Mom gets shot by her daughter because she said, no, she can't dye her hair, whatever. It's happening more and more.
Trip. Anna Kepner, the last dance video. Now that is from our new friend, Nick Capo. That's Nick Capo 609 on TikTok, and he's with us tonight. Nick, what happened? How did you manage to take that video?
So that was the sail away party. That's the party to get the cruise started when we start sailing away from port. It was in Port of Miami. And, just my family then also in the video too. I was recording them and just going around and panning around saying, showing everybody having a good time and stuff like that.
When you took the video, you had no idea that Anna Kepner would be murdered within hours. When did you realize the video that you took showed her, as it's called, last dance?
I posted the video that day, November 2nd, but it was after, everything happened and stuff like that, where somebody commented on the video, on the video, and they said that, like, oh my God, that's the girl that, that got killed. And then I went back and watched it. And then when I watched it, I seen her right there. I seen the grandma and everything too. And that's when I changed it up a little bit and, put the stuff on there. That's when I posted it or uploaded it again. There's actually two videos. Was the two songs playing, the YMCA song, and then there's the Cupid Shuffle song. I can't remember which one the grandpa was in, but one of them, I don't know. I don't even know what the stepbrother looked like, honestly. So I don't know if he was in the video or not.
And here she is in that second clip that Nick managed to video dancing, and it shows she's dancing with her grandparents. Let's look. You know what, Nick Giddens, I am so glad that you took that video and realized what it was and posted it, because it shows her, Anna Kepner, to me in a different light. I mean, really, just scrubbed in sunshine. There she is dancing with her grandparents. It just
Look
precious.
at that. I know.
Guys, you were seeing video taken. His handle is Nick Capo 609 on TikTok. Nick.
And guys, the only reason that she was on the cruise was because that was her favorite thing to do after her grandparents took her on to the first cruise she ever went with them. She loved it. She absolutely loved it. It was celebration time. She was about to graduate. She was going to go off to the Navy or the whatever, the Army. I don't know what they said. All right. Military, what have you. She was having a good time, spending with her family. Grandma and grandpa exposed her to that, and she just absolutely loved it. All right. But I also want, people are so desensitized. And I mean, you know why? Is because it's everywhere. Yeah, I read she was unclothed, but listen, I wanted to answer the question that people have asked, probably 100 times. The judge did not lock Timothy Hudson in a federal prison, guys, because federal law treats juveniles very different. And although the judge ruled that the prosecutor did not meet the legal burden required to detain him pretrial, it's directly supported by federal court reportings. And guys, even though they're charging Timothy Hudson as an adult, they can't stick him into an adult prison. He was charged originally as a juvenile, and a federal juvenile law strongly discourages detention. Under the Federal Juvenile Delinquency Act, the judge must prioritize rehabilitation and not punishment. All right. Pretrial detention of minors is allowed in very narrow circumstances. And Judge Edwin Torres explicitly said prosecutors failed to meet the burden of proof required to detain a juvenile in an adult federal prison, because that's what he's being charged with. Now, guys, even after he was indicted as an adult, the judge still needed alternatives to what's happening. When Hudson was later indicted, prosecutors pushed for detention again, but the judge said he wanted to know whether Hudson could be held closer to his family before deciding to jail him. He said because detaining him in Miami would make family access extremely difficult. Now, I don't care about that, but that's what I'm telling you is what happened. The judge also noted he would be detained if he were older. If it were a 20-year-old under the same circumstances, I probably would have detained him. But he's 16, and the legal standards are different, is what the judge says. All right. Timothy Hudson also complied with all the release conditions, and they say he's followed every rule for the months that he's been released, and they show no flight of risk or violations. All right. So strict restrictions, they say, were imposed. It's 24/7 supervision, electronically monitored, and only allowed to leave the house with the uncle or aunt. Bottom line, Timothy is not placed in prison because He was a juvenile at the time of the arrest. Federal laws make juvenile detention extremely limited. Prosecutors did not meet the threshold for pretrial detention. The judge wanted to explore closer to home options, and Hudson had fully complied with the conditions. So the judge said, hey, by legal standard, this is what we could do, and this is what we're going to do. I'll keep looking to see if there's something else alternatively. All right, so as much as I hate to report that to you, I want to report it because we've been talking about this case, and people ask the same question again and again. Now you know. That's may not be the answer you want, but that's the answer.
Giddens joining us tonight. Justice Scott Morgan joining me, professor of forensics. You, as an expert, a forensic expert, a death investigator, has stated that the infantile way in which Anna's body was concealed could point directly to her killer. Explain yourself.
Yeah, of course, because this is something that was done spontaneously. If you think about the body covering, this is a matter of convenience. What do I have in arm's reach in order to conceal the body?
Yep.
And from the infantile perspective, you have deluded yourself, the perpetrator or whoever did this, the concealment that is, you have deluded yourself into thinking that, oh yeah, well, if I put her here, no one will ever find her. This is an event where somebody is trying to shield the body so they can get distance from the body.
I agree with everything.
And look at that. Did you see the under the bed, how much room there actually was under that bed? That bed is small. The room is small. You're like literally might as well just push the beds together so you don't fall off of it. All right. This is crazy that they were in that close of quarters and nobody noticed any of that. All right. Also, let me show you something, Michelle Ramos, and welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Don't forget to hit that like button. People do say that. They're like, well, how did this punk do that? He's actually pretty big and tall. Look at that, Michelle. And we don't know when this was. This says 2023. Now I see. Watch. Look at the, let me do this. Look at that. Special Awards 2023. Okay. So that was at least 2 years ago before the crime happened in 2025. So look at him there. Add 2 years to that. Growing and growing and growing. Bigger kid. Guys, males, and I hate to say this, but scientifically, males are stronger than females. Okay? Rescue all the dogs. Yes, I agree. Okay, so that's how. Okay, that was 2 years prior, and he was much bigger then. But males biologically are stronger.
Video does exist. It's only been talked about or speculated upon in the past. Video does exist of Anna Kepner going alone to her room. Her braces were bothering her that night at dinner. She goes alone to her room.
Okay, Mo.
Video then reveals other family members, the younger brother and the older stepbrother going into the room. Further video shows the little brother leaving the room alone and then wandering around the ship all by himself for the evening.
I mean, this is right here is going to be the smoking gun, so to speak. So as I was researching this case today to find out what is really going to happen once the trial starts and evidence comes out, guys, they say the smoking gun is that CCTV that literally shows Anna going into the room 3 minutes after or 3 minutes before. Either way, 3 minutes and never coming out alive again, but Timothy going in and out. What's up, Sarah? Good to see you from Great Britain. My ex is 2 inches shorter than me, and it's just biological. It's nothing that we can do. Glad Jay said it. It is what it is, guys. Hi, babe. That's just how it goes. I'm new to this case, but is there any evidence of her being lured back to the room from dinner? Her phone was hidden. Now, her phone wasn't hidden, and they have not given us any evidence of luring back to the room, what she told them was that her braces were hurting and she was going back to the room. And I think that when that happened, Timothy Hudson realized, oh, she's going to go back to the room. Everybody's busy over here. Let me go back to the room as well. So no, there's nothing that says she was lured back to anywhere. All right. They say, hi, Mrs. Guilty. She said, hi.
But Anna doesn't leave the room, and the step brother doesn't leave the room for hours. In fact, Anna never leaves the room.
No, I know.
To Michelle Spitzer joining us out of Melbourne, Florida, investigative reporter, USA Today. What can you tell us about the video?
In these court hearings that the stepbrothers' biological parents have had, they are the ones who have named their son.
No, the phone wasn't hidden. He threw the phone away. So he got the phone in the aftermath, and he tossed it out. But hidden? No, I didn't hear anything about that. Yeah, that was Babe. Babe came by and showed me something she bought, and then I got a smooch. Right.
As a suspect. And his biological mother actually said in text messages that were revealed in court documents,
right?
She sent a text message to her ex-husband saying, once the autopsy results are revealed, we will see if he is charged, which I think is very telling.
The stepbrother is innocent until proven guilty.
I got some news today on my daughter's case. They are going to charge her 16-year-old stepbrother for first-degree murder. And there's going to be some other charges brought, but I'm not sure what they are yet until they tell me. I don't know. So that is one of the charges. And as soon as I know more, I will let you guys know. Thanks for the support.
That is Anna Kepner's.
Now, listen, guys, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of evidence out there that is going to show the communication between Anna and Timothy over an amount of time. And Justin and Sarah, you guys are talking about this. I don't think he was hiding the phone. I guess you can call hiding the phone in the trash. I mean, I wouldn't want to hide my phone in the trash because it might get thrown away. However, this kid is 16 years old. He just committed this crime allegedly. And maybe he did film something on the phone. Maybe she was filming when he walked into the room because she wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to do anything to her. So she's out, I'm filming alive or I'm doing, and maybe he snatched her phone from her and then it went down. We don't know. All right. Thank you for sending those pics. I'll take a look. I'll take a look right now. All right. I don't know why he didn't put in the ocean. He could have also put her in the ocean. Think about that. Think about that, my friends. Think about him doing that and then waiting until, let's say, 2:00 in the morning, wrapping her up in some towels and tossing her over. How hard would that be to find her? And how hard would that be to prove what he did? All right. Mo says, Mrs. Guilty reminded me of myself in a relationship. I just get so excited. I have to show you right now. It's funny because I'm the Leo. Yes, I'm the Leo. Yeah, he looks like a little boy. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point for you guys to understand that he's not. He looks like a little boy, and the jury's going to see that. But behind his eyes, in my opinion, he's evil AF, and his thoughts are dark.
Biological mother Heather Wright, but then she posts this.
So I guess I was wrong with my update the other day. Apparently they didn't charge with anything when he went to federal court, and so I'm not sure what that's all about. I also heard that he's being tried as a juvenile, not as an adult, which is up, because that boy knew what he was doing when he did it. No, it's ands and buts about it. You know what I mean? So everybody just pray for me, pray for this, my daughter. Thank y'all for all the love and support. Love y'all.
That again was Anna Kepner's mother, Heather Wright, posting very, very upset. She can't quite seem to get to the bottom of what the charges are. Straight out to Sydney Sumner joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Juvenile court. Let's see the video from juvenile court Two.
All right, let me show you something real quick. And thank you, Cuff. You guys know I don't, much as I love everybody's help, I can't, every day I can't always use everybody's help because, well, I'm working, right? I work and I'm like, shit, I just want to put this together real quick as I'm shuffling through my stuff. So thank you. Let me put that up real quick. I know Nancy Grace's face, Jay. That's a horrible thought. Which one? Like David, overboard would have been found, especially if it took 16 hours to find her in the room. Would have. That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering, but Deb, even with the cameras, they still can't prove what he tossed over. Had he wrapped her in some sheets at 2 a.m, or maybe we put some pillows and wrap some sheets and tossed her over. If they never found her body and they never were able to prove what it is he threw over, well, guess what? The Brian Hooker case? Just saying. Oh, I know of course it's a horrible thought, but that's what a lot of people do. That happens. All right, let me show you these pictures real quick. Thank you for sending those. I have them on my other drive, which is what I was asking Tiff to send me, but I'm not sure where Tiff went. She's our merch. Tiff actually does our merch, and it's a bonus for her to mod. So if she's not here every day, she's our merchandise girl. She works, she makes the merch, and we support her. All right, so there's the picture without it being blurred out. There's the alleged perpetrator, Timothy. Guys, he's not that little or small. Yes, he looks kind of thin here, but thin and muscly could be the case. It could be muscles, not, you know what I'm saying? And look at the height between her dad and him. He's tall. He's almost taller than everybody here, guys. All right. And then we've got this guy, which you can hardly see. This guy hides his face at all times from the media. Those are one of the rare occasions where he didn't. So thank you for sending that. And then with his attorney, that makes me grossed out too. Her touching him and consoling him and all that. It's disgusting to me. And then there he is again. Guys, he's not that small at all. It makes me wonder what his height is. I'm sure I can find it. But just curious how tall and how much that kid weighed. All right, let's get back to this because we're not done yet.
Federal court where he would be charged if he's being charged as a Fed. This is from our friends at Fox 35 Orlando, by the way. That appears to be his public defender with him. So he's got his lawyer with him and he's going to federal court where the whole thing started. This could be a matter of it's being handed over to state authorities to lodge charges. But what do we actually know, Sydney Sumner?
Well, right. Like you said, we know that Chris Kepner has commented that this teen stepbrother has been charged. We do not know what with. Kepner did not go that far. He mentioned charges, but did not get into the specifics of what those charges are. And we know that his relationship with Heather Wright, Anna's mom, is fraught with tension. They aren't on good terms. So the information that she's getting is not only secondhand, but also coming from the father. So whatever Chris Kepner is deciding to tell Heather Wright is what she's going off of. So yes, keeping all of these records under seal is leaving a lot to question right now.
Which is what happens in every case, right? It's pretty inevitable. When we don't get answers, we take the documents and the information we do have, and we use it to make suppositions about what happened.
Timothy Hudson is accused of sexually assaulting his older stepsister and then choking her to death to cover up that crime.
Anna Kepner's stepbrother now charged months and months after she was found dead on a cruise ship. He will be tried as an adult. Anna Kepner's dad says, I found her cold, naked body stuffed under a bunk.
So do you hear that right there? Just told you. There would be no reason for them to take her clothes off to reveal her to the father. She was naked. She was bruised. She was wrapped in freaking sheets, and she had life jackets over her. I know. She was so close to having a new life, to living her dream, and just wasn't the family cover. Yes, as a matter of fact, I don't know if they were. I mean, I'm going to say yes to an extent that we see text messages that say, don't talk, don't say anything. And the only reason any of this came out in the first place was because they had court for the custody hearings. And in the custody hearings, they say, by no means do I want my children in the house with that monster that was alleged to have not only murdered her, but raped her. All right. The grandmother said she's got demons. So what happens in the past to make her say that? Who has demons? Let's continue.
Her own dad pulls his daughter's dead body from under a bunk on the cruise line. Now he vows he will not sit through testimony. His mind, his heart, and his soul cannot go back to that room.
Well, then you
where his
should have
daughter
watched your
was
damn
murdered.
daughter.
Robert Crispin joining us now, private investigator at Crispin Special Investigations. You hear what the dad is saying. He refuses to go back into that.
Yeah, but if you go back to her episode, there was an episode that she recently did with Letitia Stout or Letitia and Gannon. Foxy, there's so many mistakes in that. They don't pronounce the names right, etc., etc. So if she said that, remember, this is all pieced together. She does premieres, but they're certainly not live premieres. Okay. So right after she said she didn't know, they just said she was naked. All right. Just because it's Nancy Grace doesn't mean she doesn't make mistakes. We all do.
That courtroom, to go into the courtroom and revisit that room again in his mind, his heart, his soul, where he found his daughter stuffed under a bed, cold to the touch and naked. Do you blame him?
Listen, I being a father, I don't want to ever have to deal with something like that. I don't blame him, but unfortunately, this is the federal government and this is a homicide investigation. And by hook or crook, he's going to have to testify and the government's going to have to put him on the stand. He's the one who found Anna dead. He's the first person back to her body to find her naked, wrapped in the blanket and covered in life jackets and finding her lifeless, cold, no pulse body.
Yep.
You don't get to not testify. I completely understand and I'm compassionate with him, but he is a major indicator of moving this case forward.
Robert, you've been there on location over and over and over, but this is what's happening right now. The perp is living in a residential home. He's not in jail. He's walking free. Now,
sucks.
This little girl, Anna Kepner, had been afraid of him for a really long time. Tonight, Crispin, we are learning that the little brother, the one that was banned from the room so Anna could be killed, that little brother, we are now learning, Crispin, that there are reports the little brother went to the mom, the stepmom and the dad, and told them something's happening, something's wrong. And nobody did anything, Crispin, nothing.
So if it's true, Nancy, and there is some banter that happened, and there is a superseding indictment that is potentially coming down the road, there were multiple indicators that we've learned through this story, Nancy, that this perpetrator, the killer, had a problem.
And guys, they're getting younger and younger. So when you think that your child or someone else's child isn't going to commit a crime because they're a child, think again. All right, think again. There's 9-year-olds killing younger children. There's 14 years old taking pleasure in torturing younger children. All right. No surprise she's sexually monogamous with the father she had. His father's still with the stepmom. So you guys are talking about weight and height, and I do appreciate you sending this, but this is only speculation, Kel. I looked it up and I don't find anything that says any of that. So when you look at the picture there, that was 2 years ago. In this, it says Anna Kepner. What you sent, Kel, says Anna Kepner, according to Google, was 4'9" tall, while her stepbrother was 5'6" tall. The two individuals are at the center of an ongoing investigation. So 4'9" and 5'6". Okay. It still doesn't talk about how much they weigh or any of that. So let's continue. If that's true, it's disgusting. What's disgusting? All right, let's continue. Let me get this back up there.
A lot of people knew that. You ever hear the term see something, say something,
and do something?
That goes right down the line of what happened here.
You know, it's amazing to me the way this is playing out. He is still out free. She's dead.
Yep.
Isn't it true, Michelle Spitzer, that her high school graduation just happened and the dad, the bio dad, had to accept her diploma? What happened?
That's right, Nancy. Her dad did go up and accept her diploma on her behalf. It was a very emotional moment. He wore butterflies on his shirt in honor of his daughter. It's a very small private school. There's only about 20 kids in the.
Well, maybe you should have paid more attention to your daughter when she was alive and you wouldn't be going through this. Don't you think a father should have known about the fact that he married this woman and her son's a fucking creeper, looking at her through windows, taking pictures of her, getting on top of her? I mean, what more signs do you need, buddy? I can't comprehend this.
Graduating class, the valedictorian spoke about Anna, spoke about what she meant to the class, how much she has missed. There was no mention about the suspect there, and it was all focused on Anna and how much she has missed.
Michelle Spitzer, isn't it true that the siblings, this is from our friends at Good Morning America, isn't it true that these siblings set up her little senior table with all of her pictures and memorabilia?
Family members did set up this table to reminisce about Anna and remember her in the good times. Her family has said they want her to be remembered by the way she lived, not the way she died. And so there were a lot of good memories.
Everyone in this case, including the defendant, including the parents, are innocent in the eyes of the law unless and until the state pierces the presumption of innocence with facts and evidence to prove.
Now, guys, I don't really think that they're going to do anything to these parents, okay? So I want you to realize that I'm not going to be on this crusade of arrest the parents. I frankly don't think that there's enough non-circumstantial evidence. Now, that's evidence for me when Crazy Jane says the little brother rushed to the parents and said Anna needs help, and they did nothing. They continued gambling, let's say. Or maybe they knocked on the door and they were getting freaky in the room and they're like, they'll be all right. Who knows? But I do not think that they're going to charge these parents with a damn thing. Right now, I do think that they are going to split up at some point. Joanne, the 75% to 80% of people that are involved, parents that are involved in the death of a child, when one or more of the parents loses a child, they usually split up. So in this situation, although they are still together, I don't think that they're going to be together too long. Just saying. All right. I'd have to do a source for info. I know, right? All right. Coffee, I believe it. Yeah. All right. Let's the worst father of the year award, right? Terrible.
Prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. We wait as justice unfolds, but please know the state is building its case, as is the defense. If you know anything about this case, please dial 754-703-2000, 754-703-2000. We remember an American hero, Trooper Donald Brackett, Pennsylvania State Police, passed away.
Oh, man. Always got to hear these, but I'm glad Nancy brings it to our attention. This guy was serious about his being a trooper. All right. May you rest in peace, my guy. All right. So that's that. I can put this back up there and you guys can kind of see the relation. We need justice for Anna Kepner. All right. And now that I've given you pretty much everything that I have, they won't be charged, but they won't make, they're not going to, I doubt they'll be charged. I was in a bad home life with my stepdad, but I didn't want to tell my mom because I didn't want to upset her. Yeah, more often than not, they're starting to charge parents, but when you see pictures like this and pictures like this where they're all together, this is not the one, but when you see picture after picture and they say, oh, I called the travel agent said, yeah, put them in there. Guys, I don't think they're going to get arrested and prosecuted for the 16 hours they weren't present. Not that I don't want them to. I don't think that's a reality. Has anyone mentioned that maybe she also liked her stepbrother and into kinky choking? Forgive me if I offend anyone. I'm gonna have to say no to that one, because anybody that's mentioned Anna Kepner that's been involved in this case, hashtag ex-boyfriend and any other friends or people around them, clearly said that Anna Kepner was afraid of her stepbrother and she didn't want to be around him. She didn't want to be in the presence of him. He was stalking her, watching her, and making her feel uncomfortable. So Midnight Lace, I'm going to have to say a big no on that one. And yeah, you're right. I mean, you can absolutely, everything's on the table at this point because we don't know. Yeah, the janky internet. That's how the internet goes sometimes, my friends. That's how it goes. All right, pregnant mom who went. I mean, this just never stops. I want to pull this up just real quick to share this with you. How many cases a day are just coming out? Look at this. Pregnant mom went missing with her 7 children 4 months ago. She was found dead by the side of the road in Mexico. All right, this just came out today. I just got it in my email a minute ago. This lady right here came from Facebook, Michaela Pendley. So if any of you guys are following the Michaela Pendley case, she was a pregnant mother of 7, and she was found dead in Mexico 4 months after being reported missing. Her 7 children, whose identities are being withheld, have been located in Mexico and are in protective custody. Now, Michaela Pendley's partner, only identified as Joseph N., has been arrested as the main suspect in her death, and according to local authorities. So, I mean, every day, it's another thing and another case, right? It just never stops. So we never run out of content. And Michelle Ramos says, what? TV and D-pics are very deceptive. 4'9", she looks taller. Wow. Did he get arrested? No, he's been arrested already, and he's been out, and there's no plans of him being detained until after the trial's over, if he gets found guilty, right? And yeah, you can't tell. Holly's 4'9", and when I met her in person, I was like, somebody shorter than me? You can't tell. All right, you cannot tell. So trafficking, they took her babies. Damn, that's crazy. I'm glad they have the babies though. Yeah, they say protective custody, so I really do hope the babies are safe, all of them, and will be brought back to the United States. It's disgusting when uninformed people talk about the sweet young lady. I know. And they're going to, Harris. So keep your filters on for yourself, and just understand that people do this as a defense, as a victim blaming, as somebody that maybe has graped or stalked other people will use excuses like this and push him on and project it onto somebody like Anna Kepner. I'm going to say, may she rest in peace. And in my opinion, she did nothing wrong to have deserved what Timothy allegedly did to her. Midnight Lace, thank you so much for the Guilty of Crime membership. Wait, what? September 3rd? What's September? Please thank Midnight Lace if you did receive that membership. That's awesome. Didn't you say One Love is your twin? Not my twin. It's who's yeah, exactly. We come to theorize, no hurt intended, of course. In the garden, they heard the father found her that way. Not a good final memory, even if he was in the garden. Wait, what are we talking about the same case now? Because in the garden, the father found her that way. I'm not really sure what that means, but yes, Husky Lover, the dad ultimately had to go in there, touch the body, unwrap it, and unwrap her body and find Anna Kepner bruised and cold and stiff with no clothes on. Right? So I'm not sure what I missed, but yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, guys, Foxy's over there making you laugh. Maybe she's going to One Love and Jen's a Gypsy are twins for different reasons. All right, we're going to go with that, and I'm out of here. You guys, I'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Is there anything y'all want me to cover? Anything? Drop it in chat. When I get off of this, if you guys can drop a comment, it helps get into the algorithm. So I'm going to say good night. And then after this ends, if you could just you can say, hey, Jay, love you, 111, whatever you want. Let's get us in the algorithm. I'm sure Jay thinks in her head where we can't hear her that we're janky sometimes. No, I don't think that you guys are janky sometimes about anybody. If I feel like you're janky, I'll tell you that. That's what you got to know about me, my friends. Harris, ask my girl Tiff. Ask my girl Tiff. Ask Synth. Ask my mods. Jay is like the honey badger. I don't give a fuck. I do, but I just say what I want to say. I say what comes out and how I feel. And if I hurt your feelings, I always apologize, but I can't apologize for being me. So that being said, love you guys. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you guys for all the support. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys mañana. Have a good one. I know we got to get to that. I'm trying to decide because people want it and then they don't. Okay, yeah. Bree, you sent me an email if you want. When did you send me an email though? Let me see. Wait, Brief? When did you send me an email? See, that's the problem is I don't get. All right, so I thought you might go send. Wait, who is this for? 3,000 down to get another vehicle to replace the one cow managed to total. Huh? Have I seen this fundraiser? Help getting down payment to who's Bridget and Tim? I'm very confused about this, Bree, because I don't like spreading yeah, that's us Leos. I don't like spreading things out there or having people support for me. Okay, that's you? Okay, so then here's the thing is I don't. Okay, so Bree, you're telling me your name is Bridget and your husband is Tim? Help getting down payment to replace only vehicle. All right. Let me know in chat if that's you and whatever, because I don't typically like to share these things. And then people come back and say it's a scam and it's on me. All right. So help get a down payment to replace a vehicle. My name's Bridget. My husband's Tim. He was coming home from our granddaughter's baseball game on May 12th at night, and a farmer's cow got out of the pen. The road is Highway 48 between Clarksville and Dickinson. One of the cows was in the road, and neither one of us seen the cow. It was totaled. The only vehicle we had insurance, but we were still paying. You guys got to get gap insurance, my friends. Was not enough because I know this has happened to me before. What we owed, we're still paying $7. My husband is disabled, veteran. He can barely get around. Okay, so this is you. I'm just gonna drop the link in chat and let you guys decide what you want to do with this. I have not vetted this. Bree, I've never seen your face before or your husband, so I don't know. But I did drop the give, send, go. You guys can decide for yourself. And other than that, I'm out of here. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Yay! Good night, y'all. Okay, I shared it. There you go. Y'all go check that out, share it, and help out if you can. All right, love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.